now. And no guarantees. I wasn't really prepared to do this. I'm somewhat presentable. It's not working out. Anyway, you can see me if you want to jump in there looking up for Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey or the word Brain Trusts or the word Brain Trusts channel. One of those two. There's nobody looking right now except for me. So no big deal. Like I said, it's just important for those who want to hear how I hear them, how their signal sounds to me in Mount Juliet. All right, very good. And again, that's Brain Trusts or Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey on YouTube, of course. And this, let's see, who else east of Mount Juliet Road, please? Oh, I got Richard. Richard, KI4SIB.
Good afternoon. Hope everybody had a good day and everything went their way. I'm going to call mine and James a little fiasco just in what they used to call a shootout on another band on this microphone.
Oh, is that right? Now you're not on the home station, are you?
I better be, yeah.
Well, the signal just seems a little lower than it was the last time I talked to you. It's about an S3 maybe.
Wow, I don't get it. I haven't changed a thing.
Maybe a little higher than that, but again, no. I've had some. Excuse me. I've seen some weird conditions recently. Most of them were farther out, but I had a couple of people that were they were farther than you are, but I had a great signal, and then and talked for a few minutes, and all of a sudden it went down to terrible. It was just barely okay. You could just read it, but it wasn't a very easy. It wasn't a great conversation. But anyway, now you sound fine. It's just just seemed like the signal's a little lower than normal.
Copy. Well, I've got the usual 3 bars on you. I've had you as high as 4, but right now you're at 3 with a good audio. I just hope that hope I can get across the street.
I don't know who told you 3 or 4 bars, but I've only been in 2 today.
Oh well, you're gonna have to up your game a little bit.
I haven't. I'm not gonna say. I haven't been in a bar in a while, a couple of years anyway, which is a good thing, I guess. All right, who else we got? But good checking in, Richard. That was Kilo India 4 Sierra India Bravo Richard in Lebanon, and of course I already told you where James was. So we'll move on. Who else we got east of Mount Juliet Road? Please come in. Have you changed anything, Jeff? Because your signal is very low tonight. Oh, that's why. Well, I can copy you, but if I had a fan blowing or something, I might not be able to hear you. No, you sound okay. You're communicating okay and low. If low power is what, 1 watt or 5 watts?
5.
Yeah, very good. Well, you're doing all right. Because I think you've checked in with higher power than that before.
I did.
Yeah, very good. We're glad to have you in there, Jeff. That's Jeff Whiskey Delta 4 Bravo Whiskey Charlie, and he's also in Lebanon. And if anybody east of Mount Juliet Road in Lebanon, all points east, please come.
KG4, am I saying?
What do you guys do? Call you out to get you in here?
No, I figured Stan or Wes would jump in there before me. I wanted to try to not key up with them, and but I didn't. That's what I was delaying for. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here, Paul. I'm here.
You're not out chasing your chickens in the yard?
No, I had to get them in before. Well, I had to get it in before the guy was cutting the grass. He's out there, and the little ones are in the pen, and the big one, he was running around. And I had to go get him. Well, I didn't have to go get him. Somebody did because he's already in the house when I went to thinking about it.
Well, you ought to consider going over to the, like the Future Farmers of America. I think they have a chicken roping class you can take.
That might be something I need to go do. Because sometimes he's a little chaser. He wants to run around, make me chase him.
Or you can get one of those, like I got from mice at one time, those glue traps. That'll get him.
Yeah, right around the food bowl, you get a little sneaky trap. Yeah. All right, well, I'm here and I don't want to tie it up, Paul. I'll talk to you after the net or so, I guess, I'm sure. Everybody out there, take care. Be careful, everybody. Y'all take care. We'll see you at KG4 MIZ.
Yeah, very good, Kevin. Good to have you in there. That's Kevin. He's just a little bit west of downtown Lebanon. And that's Kilo Golf for Mike India Zulu. Good signal. Were you on high power or low power there, Kevin?
I think it was on high.
All righty. Kevin's high in Lebanon, KG4 MIZ.
Not yet.
All right, very good, Kevin. Who else? Anybody else east of Mount Juliet Road? Please come in.
KE4TW.
Ah, there we go, Wes. Yeah, you heard Lori check in, did you?
No, given what she's using, I didn't hear a peep, but I just talked to her, and I knew she was coming from the west. But anyway, things are good. Glad to hear Kevin's chickens are doing good. He's an official chicken farmer now. So we'll see how his eggs. Well, it's been a while before his little ones produce eggs, but he's a farmer. KE4TW.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I can see. She said you wouldn't. She doesn't let you put an external antenna on the vehicle, so we can see who wears the antennas in the family.
Well, I think I'm gonna sneak one on there. I bought one at the HamQuest, but it'd be a few days before she does.
Yeah, I got you. A stealth antenna for a vehicle. All right, Wes, appreciate you checking in. That was Wes, KE4, that's Kilo Echo 4, Tango Whiskey India, and he's just a little bit northwest of Watertown. Who else east of Mount Juliet Road? All righty. It's enough time wasting on talking about who's there and not there. Who else south of I-40? Please come in.
KT410.
I believe that's Randy.
That are me down here in Franklin, Tennessee. Good evening.
Yeah, you sound good from Franklin. I used to not be able to copy Franklin very well until I got the newer antenna up higher and a better antenna, but you do fine in here. I mean, you're a good S8 here.
Yeah, my antenna's not up about 14 or 15 foot to the base. It's a G7 by Hustler.
7. Which is that the top of the line one?
Yes, they make a G6 and a G7. Of course, this antenna right here is about 30 years old, but it's got 2 coils. The G6 has only got 1 coil. This one's got 2 coils. It's got a little bit more gain. Both of them are good antennas.
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't matter the age. This antenna I'm using, I knew a guy that had it when Diamond was making them apparently in a previous decade, like 20 years ago or 25 years ago. He's had that thing on his roof up in New York State for 20 or 25 years, and it performs as good now as it ever did, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. This antenna right here is real popular on the repeater side. A lot of them were used. Of course, they may use other things now, but back in the day, it was real popular on the repeater.
And you said that's who was the manufacturer on that? I didn't jot that down.
Hustler, G7 by Hustler.
Yeah, very good. I got to take a look at that just for fun. Was that very expensive to you, or is it expensive now, that G7 by Hustler?
I don't know the price. Back then, it was about 100. I think the G6 was about 90 something. Maybe the G7 was just a little over 100. I don't know what it would be now.
I was just looking it up here to see if I could find it, but I don't want to waste time on that right at the moment. Hustler. There we go. Somebody else look for it. The Hustler G7.
Hustler G7.
Well, DX Engineer sells it for $210.
Now it's gone up about 100 in 30 years. That's not too bad.
No, and it's got that antenna has is about the same gain as mine does, which is 9.2 or 9.15.
Sounds about right. And I think the G6 is probably maybe 8.
That's interesting. It's because that antenna is 15, a little over 15 in feet 4 inches. Mine is 24 feet, so it's got about the same gain. So somebody's doing something different.
Yeah, this one goes up aluminum so far, then it's got a it's got a coil, then it's got aluminum again, and then it's got another coil, and then it's got aluminum on up to the top.
Well, like I said, they must have engineered something differently because they're at least advertising the gain as being similar. Yeah, I'd love to. Well, I can probably look that up. I'm sure they've got the Smith charts on that thing, and who wants to look at it. That's interesting though. I didn't fully realize that had a gain that it doesn't. And that's a 2 meters only, is it not?
Well, yeah, that's 2 meters only. That is correct.
Okay, well, the reason that I don't think it matters to this antenna I have, but it's a dual band, but I rarely use it on 70 centimeters. But it's the tallest one I know of on the marketplace at 24 feet.
Yeah, it's not bad. This one, I don't know, like you said, is, I don't know, 12 or 14 foot tall or so, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 15 feet. That's what it says here. All right, Randy, good to have you in there from Franklin. That's Randy, Kilo Tango 4 Tango November in Franklin. Nice signal. And he's using that Hustler G7, which is obviously a good antenna. And it's not a bad price, for $210, considering mine was, I hate to say it, what did I say it was? $385? Is that what it is? Who knows? I have to look it up. I'm embarrassed to say that's that much money. All right, nobody's going to jump in there and make me look bad. Who else we got in there south of 40? Please come
in. Into NUT.
Hey, Tom, hold on one second. We might have had a triple in there, but November 1, Mike Delta Juliet. Michael, how you doing?
Pretty good. Got to play beekeeper this afternoon, so I've just been cooling down this afternoon after doing that. Other than that, pretty good.
Did you have hives delivered to your house again?
Nah, I went and helped the beekeeper with his hive.
Okay. Well, you're learning a lot about that beekeeping thing.
That's kind of fun. I like honey, so it's interesting to learn how they get to it. Honey is the only byproduct of insects that humans eat.
Well, it's good you said byproduct, because there are people who eat grasshoppers and ants.
Yep, done that myself, I guess.
All right, very good, Michael. And you're at the house today. Are you on full power?
I'm in the mobile. I believe it's full power. Let me check. Yeah, I believe it is.
Okay, because it didn't sound like you normally do when you're home. That's why I was wondering if you were on low power. You're good signal, but it's just not as good as it is when you're at the house.
Well, I'm at the QTX. I just don't have the antenna 30 feet in the air.
Well, therein lies the difference. See, I can kind of detect that. I didn't know where you were, but it's a steady signal. It's just not as good as the normal one.
Yeah, this is the sold over Comet Super Beam.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice one, too. All right, appreciate that. It's November 1, Mike Delta Juliet. That's Michael. You're just east of Providence, a couple 3 miles near the Beckwith exit, south of 40. And Tom in Franklin. Go ahead, Tom. I haven't heard from you in a little while.
Yep, it's into NUT. You're a little bit noisy tonight, and I'm sure I am too, but just checking in, Paul. Good to hear you. Into NUT.
Oh, yeah, very good. You're just a little bit of hash in there, but you've got a good solid signal to me, about S7 maybe.
Well, I raised the antenna another 8 feet after the Mexicans knocked the antenna down about a month ago.
What, were you living right on the border or something? You had to cross over your house?
Well, you have to be bilingual when you live in a ghetto down here in Franklin.
Well, it's like a good friend of mine says, and he says, I'm illiterate in 2 languages.
I am too. Thank you, Paul. I'm listening to NUT.
Very good, Tom. Of course, that was November 2, November Uniform Tango, and he is in the ghetto portion of Franklin, because I know Franklin's not all ghetto, just pieces of it. Very good to have you in there, Tom. Who else south of 40? Please come in.
W8IFG.
Hello, Adam. How you doing?
All right. Well, just chilling.
I see your video of the Nashville clubs, that one that you produced or helped produce, the drone. that made it onto the link for the Ham Radio Weekly.
Oh, did it? Is that the? Let's see. Is that the one Kale puts out?
Yes, I did. I just happened to notice it was there though.
Okay. Yeah, I got the email, but I haven't read it yet, so I didn't notice. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it is cool because I think it's a very well produced video, and you guys did a nice job.
Well, thank you much. Appreciate that. It was quite a bugger with the program. I probably told you about that at the time I was working through it, but still didn't get that resolved. I had a live remote connection with the support person with the software last week, and didn't get anything resolved in that period of time. So we may try it again.
Yeah, I didn't give it much thought. I think I may have told you this already. When my wife and I were doing some of those videos, a 3, 4, 5 minute video, we estimated that we spent, all things included, and in this case we had to write some music and lyrics and do the recording of that and do the dubbing and do the cutting and the video, doing, and when you got it all done, you had like 80 to 90 hours of labor putting it all together for 3 or 4 minutes. So I've received a newfound appreciation for those that produce high quality stuff on, whether for movies or television or ads. They spend a lot of time.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's it's the same here. There's so much that goes into it. You don't really realize it till you do it. So yep, I agree with you entirely.
Yep. And I'm gonna write that down. I don't know, somehow I keep getting your location confused with somebody else's. Don't tell me. I'm going to get it wrong anyway. Just go ahead and tell me.
How about the first letter, B? That tip you off?
It does tip me off, but the problem is there's about 8 locations in Nashville that start with the letter V. Bellevue, Belshire, Belmont, Bellevue. If I already mentioned that one, I forget where yours is. Yours is, dang, I keep missing it. So tell me again.
Brentwood.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a word association there somehow. I don't know what that is, but Adam. I'll just make it your last name. How's that? Adam Brentwood.
Yeah, that's what it takes.
No, wouldn't do that. No, it's funny how you get those things disconnected. I know about where you are. I just can't, and particularly not in my area in Wilson County. Nashville is kind of a mystery to me. I go from one place to the other, and I don't know where I am.
Well, if I was here more often, that'd probably help out. I'm kind of spotty with my check-in, so yeah, you definitely get more familiar with more regular attendees.
Yep. No, I appreciate you being there, Adam. I know you travel a lot. You're a busy guy, and that's why I appreciate really everybody who checks in. I appreciate, because and that was one of the reasons I did it twice a week, even though I knew it would be more work, twice as much work, and. But it helps people get an opportunity to check in when they're able, because there's 2 opportunities a week, as I say, to miss the net. Only one I know of, well, at least east of the Mississippi and south of the Mason-Dixon line. Well, very good. That's Adam, Whiskey 8, India Foxtrot Golf, and he is in Brentwood. I got to put a tattoo on my arm here. W8IFG, Brentwood. Very good, Adam. Appreciate you being there. And if you haven't looked at that video, ask me about it if you want to, but there's a link to it on Ham Radio Weekly, and that's one thing you ought to be subscribing to, because it's an excellent aggregator of ham information. It comes out every Saturday. All right, who else south of I-40? Please come in.
Oh, you got a double for almost your whole transmission.
Okay, who did I double with? I'm sorry.
Kilo Delta 4 Zulu Golf Yankee
Ah, very good, Ed. That's Ed in Shelbyville. How you doing, Ed?
Oh, it's been a great day down here. Sure has. I can't complain. So I've got to talk on radio, and matter of fact, I always rush home and try to make the net.
Well, very good. We appreciate that. If I say the net is it's not the most important thing of everybody's life, but it's important enough for me that I've been doing it for almost 4 years, and so I appreciate other people who check in.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy your net for sure there. I'll turn it back to you there. Good evening to you and everyone's on the net. Kilo Delta 4, Zulu Golf Yankee Ed Shelbyville. Have a great night.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Ed. And that's Ed in Shelbyville. That's Kilo Delta 4 Zulu Golf Yankee. Good signal here into Mount Juliet. And who else did we have south of 40?
W9BOQ, Paul, can I break in for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, I could not hear Ed at all, but I could almost understand his double while you were talking. How does that work? Electronic, or how does that work?
Somebody a little smarter than me could tell you the exact definition of why that works. There's actually, when there are, I don't know on Simplex. I know, well, let me just give you an example that I've found here locally. There is something at or near the frequency we're on right now. And there are times during the day that I can hear somebody transmitting, and it sounds like a commercial frequency. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's McDonald's drive-through or it's somebody on a GM. It can't be GMRS because that's not on 2 meters. But somebody's on 2 meters nearby. I don't know who it is. And every time the transmission comes in, it doubles with itself with the NOAA, the National Weather Service, for just a short period of time. Might last 3 seconds, but it's very distinctive if you've ever listened to the National Weather Service radio. So it's freaky to me, and I don't quite understand how it lays up on top of there and comes through when it's not even on my frequency. So I'm guessing it's the same with this. We actually have here, he's got a beam pointed up towards me and in your general direction, and I doubled with him, and you could hear him.
Like I said, I could almost understand what he was saying. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that. I thought it's the first time I've ever experienced that one.
Yeah, that's the first time I've heard somebody say that it actually, you could almost hear him through my transmission, because usually on a double where I'm closer, I would just cover him up completely, you would think.
Anyway, W9BOQ, clear and listening.
Very good, Dennis. Appreciate that insight. We'll have to ask somebody about that. I'll ask somebody who's more knowledgeable than me about that issue. Who else we got? Where was I? South of 40. Please come in.
KN4CCQ.
Hello, Preston. How you doing?
No, I'm doing great. Sounding good tonight, Paul. And, heard a bunch of people out there. Their waves sounding good tonight there.
Yeah, they're not sounding too shabby. Were you copying the Shelbyville?
Yeah, I got a good copy on it, sure did.
No, yeah, I expected you would. Yeah, you kind of not necessarily right in line with the signal he's pointing at, but he's got a good, strong signal to me.
Yeah, there's no problems here. He's sounding good in my area.
Yeah, well, you're a little closer too by maybe 10, 15 miles, so you should be in good shape. Ed, are you still there? Are you able to copy Preston there in Possum Trot?
Oh, yeah, I got a great copy of it.
Yeah, I figured as much. Very good. All right, very good. Appreciate that little exchange there, Ed and Preston. That's Preston in Possum Trot, Kilo November 4, Charlie Quebec. Appreciate you being there. Anybody else south of 40, please come in.
Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor.
Hello, Larry. You're copying everybody almost, huh?
Yeah, getting most of them. I want to be last tonight.
You think you will be last?
Well, I'm trying. I was first last time, so I want to go last tonight.
Well, I could just close the net.
I'll let you have it. KE4SYV, we on the side.
All right, very good. That was Larry, Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor, and he's in Rockvale with a very good signal always. And he copies most people he's got a nice little, got reasonable elevation and a nice little tower. I think it's a 40-footer. And so he does real well. And again, it's so funny to me how I realized it over time, but having a better antenna and having that antenna up higher, as high as you can get it legally and or acceptable to the YL or XYL, it makes it so much more fun on the air. Who else out the 40? See, everybody, Larry's, you're probably keeping everybody off after you, but we'll give it a try anyway. Anybody else south of 40, please come in.
Does it have to be legal? KI 4 ND 5 watts.
Ah, you're doing great on 5 watts there, David.
All right. Well, what's all that about illegal height? Does it have to be that way?
A legal height? Well, it's got to meet the FCC requirements, but sometimes that legality is brought to you by the XYL.
Oh, I got you. So now, did she help you put yours up or not?
Yes, she helped me. Let me see. Did she help me put that antenna up? The answer would be no. I brought home the first vertical, and I think I might have told you that story. I mounted on the fence post near the corner of the driveway where the driveway meets the house. And I had it up there. I was just checking it out on the installation, how I was going to put it up. And she came back. We came back from an errand we went on and come back. She goes, "What's that?" I said, "That's the antenna that I bought." She says, "That's not going to stay there, is it?" I said, "No, it's going up on the roof." She stayed silent after I said that.
Yeah, I can see you up underneath the bed, her yelling, come out from underneath there and fight like a man."
Yeah, see, I don't even buy cast iron skillets anymore.
All right, sir. Well, I just kind of moseyed through there, and you guys was on one to give you another number and tell everybody good evening. Good evening, Mr. Paul. Appreciate what you do. KPW, KI 4 ND. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, very good, David. That was David Kilo India 4 November Delta November, and he's in Reedyville, and he couldn't let Larry have the last word. Who else we got south of 40? Well, then we're going to take late check-ins. Any place, anywhere, anyhow. Please come in. Got nothing. Then we have to move on to the lurkers, lollygaggers, sandbaggers, and scanner listeners.
W1 KOM, Glenn.
Yeah, very good, Glenn. That's Whiskey 1 Kilo Oscar Mike Glenn. And Glenn, forgive me, I forget where you're located.
I'm across the lake from you, like Sailboat Drive, Bell Road.
Yeah, you see, that's one of those things. You get those, I'll call them, somebody told me it's called old-timers. I just call it brain freeze. You'd think I'd remember that being so, really, you're very close, because it's easy for me to copy almost anybody around Percy Priest or the other side, even with a handheld, or you could be on 1 watt and I'd probably hear you just as good. But no, you have a great signal over there, Glenn.
Yeah, I'm mobile right now. My card is pretty good, but I'm in that same area. But be a lurker tonight. Checking in from the lake.
That's all right. I got to have somebody once in a while. You can even pick which one you are: sandbagger, lurker, lollygagger. Which can't be a scanner listener. Well, you could be, but you'd just be a licensed scanner listener.
Maybe email a photo or something.
I haven't had any scanner listeners contact me. No, I don't think I have. And of course, I'd love to have. Maybe they're unable to check in, but that's those 2 new hams that I mentioned earlier. That Kilo November 4 Oscar Juliet Hotel, and the Kilo November 4 Oscar Juliet Golf. Jonathan and Jen. If they're out there, click once. No copy. All right. Well, anyway, Glenn, appreciate you being in there from over there. You're mobile over there on the other side of Percy Priest on Bell over, and I guess that would be, that's Davidson County. But appreciate you being there. That's Whiskey 1 Kilo Oscar Mike. Anybody else? Lollygagger, lurker, sandbagger, or scanner listener?
November 4, Mike Echo Yankee.
November 4, Mike Echo Yankee. Okay, I don't remember that call, but tell me if I have heard it before.
I think you probably have. The name here is Kurt, Charlie Uniform Romeo Tango. But I'm in East Nashville. I heard you say lurkers and thought you were probably done with your sectors. So I just thought I would jump in and say hi. I've been meaning to for a while. I more often hang out on 9.1 and on the 4.9 Simplex net. And so I put my amplifier on here tonight to see if I could get through. And I'm about 100 watts if nothing explodes. So inform me why.
Yeah, Kurt, you should be doing great. Where are you in East Nashville?
Well, if you know where Opryland used to be, I'm across the river.
Ah, okay. Well, no, I do know where that is, and I wouldn't. You certainly don't need 100 watts from East Nashville to get into my antenna. Do you have it? Can you easily change it to a lower wattage?
I certainly can. I'll go down to about. Let's see. How about right here?
Yeah, you're still full copy. Let's go one more time. I didn't hear any hash in that one. It went off for a little bit. Yeah, give me another reply, please.
Okay, let's see. I'm trying to see what my power reading is here. I got this old amplifier out, and I'm about 10 watts now.
Oh yeah, see, 10 watts is almost. I'm not sure. I know you're at 10 or 50 on that. You know what you're on right now because your signal's great.
Well, that's great. I just wanted to get this thing and air it out and try everything out. So it's good finally getting on to say hi to you guys, and so I'll let you carry on with it and inform me why.
Yeah, very good. That's Kurt, November 4, Mike Echo Yankee. It's not everybody's because you can't always hear everybody on 5 watts either. That's one of the difficulties. But Kurt, pleasure to have you in there. And but what's with that 4.9 Simplex? Which one is that?
Oh, there's a bunch of us hang out on 146.49 Simplex, off and on. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but yeah. And then of course I'm the treasurer of the Short Mountain Repeater Club on 146.91. Y'all are invited to those nets. You're also invited to the Hamfest on Sunday the 26th, the last rainy Sunday in August. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do. And inform me why.
Yeah, very good, Kurt. That's right. It was familiar to me, but I forgot about it. We did have a QSO. I think it was here, but it was on another day. It wasn't on a Simplex night. And yeah, we did talk about that. We didn't talk about 4.9 Simplex, but we did talk about the Short Mountain Repeater, and you'll be in the treasure. And I'm glad you're there, Kurt. Appreciate it. And then again, November 4, Mike Echo Yankee, East Nashville, I should say. All righty. Anybody else late check-in or a late lurker, lollygagger, sandbagger, or scanner listener? Scanner listeners can check in on the web here on the YouTube feed. Maybe I ought to advertise that. That would get more people. All right, no more. And now procrastinators have to wait until after midnight or catch me sometime later in the day. And technically, we had 2 early check-ins this evening because he couldn't be here, but so that makes it a grand total of 23, which is a great average night for us, which is great. I was looking at through an older, about a year old, and it said I had written and was telling someone that we had an average of 12 check-ins. So in 12 months ago till today, we went from 12 to 23 on average check-ins, which is, well, it's still astounding to me, and I appreciate everybody who checks in. And I am going to close the net unless I hear something from somebody in the next 10 or 15 seconds. All righty, we'll leave it at that. Go ahead and close it down unless I hear from somebody, because K4PEW looking for any check-ins late or otherwise. Please come right now.
K4IDC. Can't hear anybody else anyway.
That's the cry for help among a poor ham radio operator. I can't hear anybody. I hear you in there. I hear you in there, Robin.
Good.
All right, we got you as a late, the actual beyond late, but before procrastinator check-in. You doing all right? Getting ready for the going down to Huntsville?
Yes, indeed.
All right, very good. Hope I could make it. I just might. We shall see. All right, good to hear you in there. Any other late, kind of like Robin, K4 IDC south of here, Mount Juliet, late, please come in.
Recheck.
Yeah, go ahead, recheck.
Yeah, I'm going to Hamfest. It's KD4's AGY, and I want to let all these ham operators and listeners there know who I am when I get down there. I'll be the one with a 2-meter radio on my belt. You ought to be able to pick me out.
You think having a 2-meter radio on your belt is going to help find you?
Well, it's a joke, but you know how that works.
Well, you're going to carry a dual band 50 watt, or is that'll find you?
Oh, me, you know, you go down there and everybody have a 2-meter on their belt, you know, and an old man with a half of a hairdo, you know. I appreciate it. I just want to throw that in there for what it's worth. Katie for ZG Clear.
Yeah, Ed, I was a couple of years ago when I was at the Ham Fest. I was driving in. I'd never been there before, and I was listening to the talk-in frequency on the repeater, and somebody was sitting on their handheld, and it wasn't overpowering the repeater. And the net control for the Ham Fest says whoever's sitting on their handheld, push to talk, please get off. And somebody immediately came back and says, if he's pushing the push to talk on his radio, he can't hear you, dude.
That's right.
It just cracked me up. He didn't think of that before he said it.
I'll let you close the net out. Katie for ZG Clear.
Yeah, very good, Ed. Appreciate it. And yeah, we'll be looking for you. If I make it, I think I will. But anyway, I will catch everybody later. You guys have a great night. Like I said, there's like 23 check-ins and fantastic group. And I'm closing the net and closing down the stream here right now. K4PEW. Have a great night, guys.